Welcome to the November 21st, 2022 Advance Report for McGowanGroup clients and NetWorthRadio.com listeners. I'm Spencer McGowan, your financial weatherman with your weekly fast-paced tour of the global financial markets. I'm President, McGowanGroup Asset Management, a team of 10 serving affluent families from the Crescent in Dallas, the team that cares. We look forward to updating your plan for 2023. We're going to start with the economy this week because the best estimate we've found for current economic growth is real GDP now by the Atlanta Fed. They raised their current estimate for the fourth quarter to 4.2%. That is robust economic growth. We went to Bloomberg to also look at next year, 2023. Lots of people asking, is there going to be a recession? So we looked it up right here. 2022 comes in at 1.8% positive growth, even though we had a technical recession in the first half because inflation was hot. So real GDP was negative for 2 quarters, but it comes out at 1.8 on the current estimate. Now, 2023, the year is projected to be just 0.4% growth. That's anemic growth. But the good news built in that, it's not a projection for a recession, at least not yet. And then 2024, the learned economists in Bloomberg are projecting 1.4%. Growth gets a little better, but it's still very anemic. It looks like the recovery that we had in the Obama years, where you got about 1% to 2% economic growth. Boring, but it was also Goldilocks for the markets as companies were able to navigate successfully to higher profits. This is inflation. So this is for producer inflation, meaning companies, right? It has wages in it. So here you can see relatively hot. The peak was June. July, we got deflation for producers. That was energy, and it returned to about 0.4. If you sum these up, then you're looking at an inflation rate that is actually for producers that has virtually disappeared. It's back below 3%, 0.2% right here for the month of October. That would annualize at 2.4. Meaning a big part of the systemic inflation, supply chain crisis, all of that has disappeared. And we saw the housing market turn. So here's the question. For the last 120 days, if we don't have significant inflation, obviously the Federal Reserve may be reaching the end of their tightening cycle, potentially on December 14th. Now, this is S&P 500 year to date, minus 15%. Down here, it was about a minus 25%. We've had a rebound since then of about 13%. And was that the low? Well, I'm going to do some economic research as we go through this because the 70s are kind of a playbook on what happens to inflation and the market. So let's take a look at where we are. This is right now from the beginning of 21 through 22, you can see the market going way up, Dow at 36,000, and you could see this high inflation, 9.1, corresponding to a big drop in the markets. But you could see the inflation rate appears to have peaked back in about June. Well, what's the impact on the markets longer term? Here we go back to the 70s. This is 1973 to 1974. You could see a very ugly bear market cycle. Well, in the case of inflation, we had the first round of ugly inflation, Nixon's wage price control, stupid energy policy, and it caused a spike in inflation. But once inflation started to come down, you recovered. Now, it was a nice recovery as you got disinflation through 1976. And then inflation heated up again because Carter came in with some policies that also were over-regulation and rampant fiscal spending. And that pushed inflation up. Well, here we go, 1978. You can see inflation went to 15%. And that was not good for the market. As soon as it started to come back down, disinflation, then you did get a rally, one more test of that bottom, and you prevailed. But notice that corresponded to recovery in the equity markets as you got disinflation. Now, here's something unusual. This week, West Texas Intermediate crude smacked all the way down to 78 a barrel. What does the futures market tell us? Out here in 2024, the price is just above $70 for oil. There's a floor there because the Biden administration said they're going to refill the Strategic Petroleum Reserve by buying futures contracts out here in 2024. Well, that puts a floor under the market at about 70, and the high this year was about 130. It is interesting that the price of oil for the futures market is discounted from the current price. That backwardation is kind of a mystery that we're studying. We've got projections for $100 barrel oil next year, and that could be the range, 70 to 100. It's a sweet spot for oil and gas, and it could be a sweet spot for the overall economy because it's not too hot. I'm Spencer McGowan, President, McGowanGroup, networthradio.com. Go to networthradio.com. I've got the graphs in the busy box, the extended program. Plus, at networthradio.com, you can set your time for a brainstorming session to update your plan with McGowanGroup Asset Management. Thank you for tuning in to Net Worth Media today. And our efforts over the past 2 decades to educate clients and help clients make great decisions, that's the reason that we're here at YouTube McGowanGroup, Apple Podcasts, Net Worth Radio, and networthradio.com. The Net Worth Media effort is designed to help you make great decisions and address value at risk of loss, fluctuation in the markets. Remember, if we talk about a security, doesn't make it a recommendation until you come down and get a plan from McGowanGroup Asset Management, the team that cares. You can set a Zoom meeting or an in-office meeting at the Crescent, and we'll give you a written plan that encompasses what we believe to be the best allocations. This is a team of 10 devoted to you. That includes the research that you see each week from Reuters, from Bloomberg, and from the best sources. We always post links at networthradio.com for what we believe can help you make great decisions, the research that comes up. Now, the Net Worth Media effort is also designed to address cycles in the market, value at risk of loss. At networthradio.com, you can get the ADV form that shows, yes, we're a fiduciary, a registered investment advisor. It covers the costs of hiring our team to help you in the future ahead. It really helps to have an expert team on your side that you can reach by phone, email, and of course, a team that's here for you every week to address what's going on in the markets, because anxiety can often lead investors to make decisions that are either dangerous, chasing things, or selling things when they shouldn't. And that's a big part of our planning effort at McGowanGroup Asset Management. Thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to serving you and your family in the years ahead.